So that is how you find the mean for question number 16. So if you are given a question to do with mean, that is exactly what you do. You find the midpoint of this, so the median of this plus this divided by 2, this plus this divided by 2, and then you have the column for x. Then you write the frequency, then you find f of x. This times this, giving you that. This times this, you get this. This times this, you get that. You find sum of f of x divided by the total frequency that was in that particular question. In question number 17, now moving to question number 17, students were given 2 points where a straight line passes, and the first point was basically 2, 0, and another point was 0, 4. This is where the straight line passes, and this was question number 17. So the students were asked to find y equals to mx plus c, the equation of a straight line where this line passes. So something that you need to have in mind whenever you're given a question like this, first you need to find m, which is the gradient, and that is y1 minus y2. Sorry, we can say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to go to the given coordinates so that we can be able to decide which one is going to be our x1, which one is going to be our x2. So we can say this is x1 y1, x2 y2. So meaning that we are going to say 4 minus 0 divided by 0, x2 minus x1 minus 2, and this is going to be 4 over negative 2. So the answer is going to be negative 2. So once you have the equation of the gradient of this line, which is well seated here, you are going to say, using the formula y minus y1 is equals to m into x minus x1. So this is a formula you use whenever you want to find the equation of a straight line, where y1 is any of the given coordinates. We can now say, let this be our x1, y1. So this is going to be y minus y1, which is 0. y1 here is 0, is equal to the gradient we got here, which is m, negative 2 into x minus x1, which is 2. So if you work out this, you're going to get is y is equals to x minus 2 times x, it will be minus 2x, minus 2 times minus 2, it will be plus 4. And that becomes now the equation of this particular straight line in the form y is equals to mx plus c. So if you are going to be given a question like this, be very sure that you can be able to use that approach in order to get the answer. Moving to question number 18, the question 18 that was given here was a question whereby candidates were given a graph, and this graph was a speed time graph that was well illustrated, as this is speed, and on the x-axis we have time in seconds. So velocity, our speed was increasing up to 8 meters per second and then remained constant throughout there. So the first question, calculate the distance covered in 10 seconds. So that was part A, distance in 10 seconds, because this region here time was 2 seconds and this region here time was 10 seconds. Time was in second in this question. So the students were asked to find distance covered in 10 seconds. 10 past 10 seconds. So something that you need to remember, anytime you're working out question to do with speed time graphs, if they're asking you distance covered, basically that is the area under the graph. You are going to be working out area under the graph in that particular region. So you have to remember, we have area 1, and we have area 2. So meaning we're going to find the area. Area 1 is going to be a half base times height, because whatever we are having here in the first part of the graph is a triangle. So we are going to say a half times the base. The base is 2 and the height is 8. So if you work it out, you are going to have this cancel. We have 8 meters. We are going to say distance is we are working out distance, even though we have found area. Area is representing distance in that case. Then we need to work out area 2. This area 2 that we are having here is in form of a rectangle. So from this point to this point, we are going to find the difference, and that is going to be 8 seconds. And the height is 8. Basically now this is what? A square that we are having in this region. So this is going to be 8 times 8, and that's going to be 64. So meaning that this is the total area, total distance is going to be 64 plus 8, and that is going to be 72 meters. That's the total distance that was covered, because the distance here is going to represent the area is going to represent the distance that was of the object covered. The next part was that the length of the race is 100 meters. The length of the length of the race is 100 meters. After 10 seconds, the athlete continues to run at a speed of 8 meters per second until the end of the race. So the total distance traveled, calculate the total time taken in the 100-meter race. So first here, in order to know in the next, because we are told the total distance is 72. So what's the remaining distance this person is going to run? Then we're going to say remaining distance remaining. In that case, we are going to say the remaining distance is equals to 100 subtract 72, and that is going to be 28 meters. So this is the distance that's remaining. But this person is going to run that distance in 8 meters per second constant. Then we need to remember that time is equals to speed. Time is equals to distance divided by speed. So this is going to be 28 divided by 8. So if you work out 28 divided by 8, you are going to get 3.5 seconds. But the total distance now to cover the 100, it will be 3.5 plus the 10 seconds that were covered here, and that becomes 13.5 seconds for the entire journey. So basically that's what you ought to have done in that particular question, so that you can be able to work out and get all your marks. If you are new to ProfLearn YouTube channel, consider subscribing so that anytime I'm going to upload more tutorials, you'll be notified. And you can also join our Patreon page so that you can be able to access some of the PDF I usually present in our YouTube channel here. So let's go and dive in so that we can be able to look at question number 19. We're told the mass of a radioactive substance decays exponentially at the rate of 10%. So if it's decaying, what's remaining is going to be, if it's decaying at 10%, what's remaining is going to be 90. So therefore we can be able to say if it started with 20 grams, so it will be 20 times 0.9 raised to power n, so that we can be able to know what's remaining after every time, because it's decaying at 10%. So after 10% has decayed, we're going to remain with what? 20 times this, and n is the number of duration or the time taken. And in this case, I can decide and say this is t, time taken. So after a period of what are we going to have less than 1? Are we going to have less than 1? So we are going to say after a period of what? We shall have mass remaining less than 1. So therefore, we can divide by 20, we can divide by 20. So this is going to be 0.9 power t is less than 1 over 20. So which means if you divide 0, okay, we have 1 divided by 20, this is going to translate to 0.05. We are going to have here 0.05. So meaning that we can introduce log both sides. So if you introduce log, the sign, the direction of this log, this inequality will change. So this is going to be t log. I'll take this behind the log, so the inequality will be that 0. Of course, this is log (0.05) divided by log. I think I've gone a bit. Yeah, so this is going to be 0.9 t is less than 0.05. Introducing log, we are going to have log 0.9 t is greater than. When you introduce log, the inequality is going to change. So log 0.05, and of course we can divide the log both sides, but we shall take the t behind the log. So we shall have t log 0.9 is greater than log 0.05 divided by log 0.9 divided by log 0.05, and we end up having our t here being greater than 28.433, and our t is going to be 29. We just take number of days, a whole number, so just the next number, the least number of days is going to be less than 1, is going to be 29 days. So if you're new to ProfLearn, continue subscribing so that anytime I'm going to upload the next tutorial, you'll be notified. And we shall be doing part 2 of this, so you can be able to check the description so that you can be able to access the second part.